Hey audio students, this is Rajiv, and this is a quick tutorial about how to create a Pro Tools session from scratch. So the first thing that I did that you didn't see was I went to my dock and I opened up Pro Tools. So that's, the Pro Tools link that you'll find on your desktop, or it's probably on your taskbar somewhere, but you just click the link and then Pro Tools is going to load up. The first thing that's going to pop up as soon as Pro Tools is done loading is this dashboard over here. And what you want to do here is a few things to set up your session before you hit create. So the first thing that you want to do that's very important is title your session. So I'm going to go ahead and title this Rajiv _VO for voiceover. And you'd want to save it on the local storage. So this means that your saving of your session is going to happen on your hard drive and not on some kind of a cloud or anything like that. So that's the first thing that you want. And then second, you want to make sure that your settings are configured correctly. So your sample rate should be at 48 and your bit depth should be at 24. If you want to know a little bit more about sample rate and bit depth, just let me know. We can have a conversation in class. But this is pretty much the settings that we're going to use throughout the semester and probably in other classes as well. So 4824 is going to be your sample rate and bit depth. And then your I/O settings should be stereo mix. When you set it to stereo mix, this is the default settings in Pro Tools and it's not going to mess you up or anything like that. So you definitely want to be at stereo mix. And then very importantly, you want to prompt for location. So this means that once you hit the create button, Pro Tools is going to ask you, hey, where do you want to save this session? Instead of saving it somewhere automatically for you, which would be this one. So you want to choose prompt for location. And then we could just hit create and then you're going to get this right here and it's asking you where do you want to save it. So right now I'm on one of my hard drives over here on my computer, but I can save it to the desktop. I can go to the libraries folder or wherever I want. I'm going to go ahead and save it onto this hard drive over here. So let's go ahead and hit save. Okay, and now you have your first window. So this is a blank session over here. You don't have any tracks, you haven't done anything yet. But this is how you really create the Pro Tools session. So before we dive into anything in Pro Tools, we want to make sure that we know where our session folder is. So this is a very important part over here. So I'm going to go back to that hard drive that I created my session at, and it's on this hard drive, and there is my session folder. So here's the thing. You want to keep your eye on your session folder. So this is when you created the Pro Tools session on that dashboard and then you hit create, this folder automatically gets created for you wherever you saved your session. So within this folder itself, you're going to have all your important files. You got the audio files, the bounced files, clip group, session file, backup video files, and then your actual session over here. Now, if you import an audio file in Pro Tools or if you record anything in Pro Tools, it's going to end up in your audio files folder. If you import a video file, it's going to end up in the video file folder, right? Anytime you save your session, it's going to end up in the session file backup. So this is a very important folder, and you want to keep everything in this same folder. You don't want your audio files folder to be somewhere else, because if you open up your session without your audio files here, Pro Tools is going to be like, where's all your audio files, right? So same thing. If you take this out of the audio of the session folder and you put it onto your desktop and you open it up, Pro Tools is going to say, where is all the important information, right? So you always want to open up your session within the same session folder, right? And you always want to keep your session folder somewhere very safe. So that's the whole thing about the session folder. When you submit your projects to me, you're going to submit the entire session folder, not just the PTX file that's over here, right? The Pro Tools session file. So keep an eye on that session folder. Make sure you don't lose it. It's a very important thing. So in order to see your screen, you want to go to the other window. So if you click window and you go to edit window, your edit window is going to pop up. So this is the screen where you're going to import audio tracks and do some kind of editing and all that kind of stuff. This is the main screen. And the first thing that you want to do when you create a session is you want to go to track, hit new, and you want to create a master fader track in stereo. Okay, so if I do that and hit create, you get something called the master fader track. What is a master fader track? It's the track that rules them all. So if you have 10 tracks in Pro Tools over here, track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4, all the way up to 10, all of those 10 tracks go back to this one master fader track, which shows you the volume of all those tracks combined into 1 meter, right? So this is a place where you can check the overall volume of your entire project using these meters over here. We're going to get into a little bit more about Pro Tools and how to use it, but this is a very quick tutorial about the basics of setting up your session and how to save it and what the session folder is. I hope this helps, and if you have any questions, feel free to let me know.